Are you thinking about living that lake life here in West Michigan? Well, today we are gonna dive into the 4 best lakes to live on and still be able to commute to work here in West Michigan. We're gonna cover all the best spots, we're gonna cover all the fun events, and we're gonna cover all the highlights of living that lake life with our video today. Number 1 lake that's gonna make it onto our list today is Gun Lake down in Berry County on the north side. This one is a fantastic lake, and this lake is over 2,600 acres. It's an all sports lake. Got a ton of different stuff when it comes to boating, when it comes to jet skiing, lots of on the water opportunities. Just about that halfway point between downtown Grand Rapids and starting to get into Kalamazoo. So no matter where you work, there's an easy ride to get to either place, especially if you're interested in living that lake lifestyle. When you look at the lake itself, there's definitely a mix of small cottages, older homes on the lake, and of course we've seen in the past several years people take advantage of its distance and start to really put little mini mansions on the lake. I will say this, Gun Lake is one of those ones where you ride around on the lake, you're on the boat. There are some amazing houses on the lake as you drive by. Definitely worth looking at. Again, some of the highlights when we start to look at Gun Lake and why it's cool. Number 1, it's attached to the Yankee Springs Recreation Area. This is one of our top state parks that's in drivable distance. Acres and acres and acres of trails and beaches and play structure type stuff and just a ton of things to do. And I will tell you, while Gun Lake is the big lake, there are a ton of little small lakes that are still in Yankee Springs that are great spots for fishing. That being said, Gun Lake itself is known for ice fishing. One of the great spots to go in the winter if hanging out on the ice and catching fish is something that you're interested in. Another big highlight when it comes to Gun Lake is the sandbars. Gun Lake is one of those that has multiple different sandbars, and if you've lived that lake life, you know pulling up on the sandbar, chaining boats together, having mini parties and get-togethers is one of the highlights for people as they spend the summer in this amazing weather and out on a lake like this. Last but not least, when we start to get to Gun Lake, there's also the Sand Bar and Grill, which allows you to go ahead, pull the boat right up, and be able to have dinner on the lake, head back to the boat, and continue enjoying the amazing sunsets that we see here in Gun Lake. And the next lake on our list is Reed's Lake in East Grand Rapids. Reed's Lake is one of our smaller lakes, coming in at only 265 acres. But Reed's Lake is also an amazing place to be. Number 1 factor with Reed's Lake, it's the closest lake to downtown Grand Rapids. And if you're familiar with East Grand Rapids, you know this is a prestigious place to live. Reed's Lake is a beautiful area with amazing walking trails around the lake. There is some watercraft rental if you want to get out on the lake, and just a ton of different things to do. Reed's Lake is, I would say, 40% accessible to the public. The other 60% is private homes, and let me tell you, these are private luxury homes. Reed's Lake is another one. While it's not huge, you can see some amazing displays of homes and mansions on the lake, and it's always a fun spot to go out and just check out the scenery and see what it's all about. Tons of bike trails too, all through East Grand Rapids, but especially around Reed's Lake. A super walkable neighborhood and just a great place to spend an afternoon and an amazing place to live in East Grand Rapids. A couple of things that we have out there. It is the home to the Grand Rapids Yacht Club. Fun place to go. It's also for a place called The Row, which is a historic lakefront home. This one built in the early 1900s, and it's just one of those breathtaking mansions that I'm talking about over there on the lake. There is a Reed's Lake triathlon that happens every single summer, and of course one of their big restaurants is Rose's right on Reed's Lake. Another great place to go, have an amazing meal, and get unbelievable views while you're doing it. Number 3 on our list of lakes, and quite honestly, one of my top favorite lakes here in the area is Lake Macatawa. If you are not from West Michigan and you saw that name, you might be a little confused on its pronunciation. I totally get that. But Lake Macatawa is amazing. Beautiful all sports lake, 1,700 acres on this lake, and a lot of homes on it as well. One of the big pluses with Lake Macatawa is it has direct access to Lake Michigan. One of the other giant pluses about Lake Macatawa is you get to check out the yachts. When it comes to big boats, this is a lake that has several that come in and out as they're getting access to the inland docking points, as well as heading out into Lake Michigan to cruise out on the big water. When it comes to the homes, we're seeing a lot of amazing homes, from classic Dutch style homes on the lake to, again, these unbelievable, beautiful modern mansions, and even some of the old classic cottages that still exist on Lake Macatawa. Great place to be, a hop, skip, and a jump from downtown Holland, which is another amazing one. And if you get a chance, check out our video about downtown Holland. It gives you a full breakdown of all the cool things about it, and there's definitely a lot. Really, just less than 10 minutes to get down there, and that's a huge bonus of Lake Macatawa. Couple of things, cool facts about it, fun things to do. Obviously, Lake Macatawa and Holland, home of the Tulip Festival. And that is one of the biggest things that we see here in West Michigan. If you haven't looked up Tulip Time, our Tulip Festival, it's been going on for years and years in the area, draws a ton of tourists. Definitely a fun, amazing experience. Of course, you know, I also love Holland State Park, which is right there off of Lake Macatawa, super, super close. Great place to go, spend an evening, get that classic beach experience, plus be able to go through and check out the dunes and all that fun stuff there. Of course, the boating is always a big attraction, and there's a couple of places to eat right on the lake. You have the Big Lake Brewery, and you also have the Boatworks Waterfront restaurant. So if you're looking for cool things to do on the lake, Macatawa is definitely worth your time to check it out. Last but not least, lake number 4, and it's the big boy. You know I'm talking about Lake Michigan. One of the most amazing lakes of the Great Lakes. No question, it is a huge draw and an amazing place to live. Yes, Lake Michigan takes up the entire western coastline here in our state, and there's a million small cities around it, but even here, of course, we have so many homes that are on Lake Michigan that are drivable distance between Grand Rapids or Holland itself in that situation. What do we see? We see a mixture of luxury residents on the lake. We see some of the old style cabins. We see some 50s built homes. There's no doubt for the past 100 years, people have seen the value of that lakefront living here in West Michigan on Lake Michigan. We have parks upon parks upon parks as you go down the coast here on Lake Michigan. A ton of cool places, bike trails, play spots for the kids, and of course we are absolutely known on this side of the state for our sandy beaches and the amazing dunes. The dunes themselves are just such a cool thing to cruise around and crest over and then see that amazing freshwater, shark-free ocean just on the other side of the dunes. If you haven't spent time on Lake Michigan, you're absolutely missing out. If you're looking for that coastal living vibe, but you still want to be close to friends and family, you still want to be drivable to Holland, to Grand Rapids, Lake Michigan is absolutely the right choice, and of course one of the most awesome lakes in the entire state, let alone West Michigan. If you're thinking about finding a waterfront home here in Lake Michigan, I would absolutely love to help. I specialize in helping buyers find the right home for them. So if you got some value out of this video, go ahead and subscribe and give it a like. It helps it to get out to more people. And if you're thinking about a home that fits you better than your current one, reach out to me. My contact information is in the description below, and I would love to help guide you in the purchase to find the right home that fits you the best at this stage. I'll see you guys on the next video.